Critical Blast, where pop culture gets blasted.
And welcome, everybody. Yes, we are back in familiar, dismal surroundings tonight. If you've been watching us this past week, you saw we were broadcasting from Hotel Caligula, where you pay by the hour and you get what you pay for. That way for some very interesting stories, none of which I'm going to tell on the YouTube channel. So we are going once more into the world of crowdfunded comic books. And tonight, some of you have asked, RJ, where'd you get that really, really cool, bright, and let me tell you, it's very soft t-shirt for Punchline. Not that Punchline, the other one. No, not that Punchline either. This Punchline. The first character of the name. Yes, that's important. Well, if you want to know where that came from, let's ask Ted Sikora from Hero Tomorrow Comics. Ted, how are you tonight?
I'm doing great.
It's too late for people to get this, isn't it?
Nope, they can get it on the website.
We got to put that in. We got to put that link in the chat. Is that HeroTomorrowComics.com?
It's just HeroTomorrow.com.
I'm putting that in the chat right now. Everybody go out and hit Hero Tomorrow because you're going to want some cool comic books and you can get some really cool garb. And Ted is joined tonight by Butch Mapa. Butch, how are you doing out there?
Doing good. Hi, RJ. Hi, Ted.
Hey,
Morning
Butch.
from the Philippines.
So
good morning.
So you guys are working on expanding this shared universe of Apama, the undiscovered animal. And is it fair to call him the undiscovered animal anymore? Because he's got 12 issues under his belt. Yeah, there's a cool shirt.
Yeah.
Look at that, twinsies.
Well, the animal is still undiscovered, you know.
That's true. They haven't found the animal yet. I still kind of, I watch a lot of these Bigfoot shows, Ted, and I'm tempted to start this underground rumor of sightings of an Apama just to see how long it takes it to get into the crypto.
I would love it.
Everybody's like, we saw an Apama down here in New Mexico. It was killing goats. So, Butch, how long have you been involved with the Hero Tomorrow projects?
I think I came in like maybe early 2017, like way after Ted started Apama, because he's had these characters in this universe in his head and on paper for a lot of years already. So I think I'm maybe the latest artist to join the group, Ted.
That's right.
Yeah.
Well, it's an illustrious group to be a part of.
You and Donnie started really at the same time, because Tap Dance Killer and Bloom were there was a search that I was doing for both books at the same time. I put out a call on digital webbing, and we got 200 artists that's applied or submitted work. And I listed both projects. I said we're looking for artists for two different projects, and some people really wanted one or the other, or said I'm good for either. And I think what was neat about Butch is he came in pretty late, because I was almost ready to make my decision. And I remember this very specifically. He was like, I looked at his stuff and I'm like, man, this is some nice work, but I think I know what I'm going to do with this. I go, well, here's the page. I was giving everybody a page to lay out, and his layout, which many artists' layouts are, they're very sketchy, almost blocked out. You can't really tell a style, but the layout looked solid, but it wasn't anything that knocked me over, And I said, well, I'll tell you what, instead of finishing it, because we're in a big hurry, just finish one panel or pencil me one panel. And the Regina he drew in that one panel just stole my heart. It was, she looked so likable. And that's the thing I think a lot of artists have trouble with. They can draw sexy women, but they don't draw them in a way that makes them feel like an approachable woman, or somebody that's not over sexualized. And what he did was just, I love it. I love it. And in fact, that image, even though it's a panel, I think we should do a variant like a detailed version of it.
Butch,
Cover.
let me ask you this now, because Regina is she's not going to be called Bloom, is she? That's sort of like the story title.
It's a story title, right?
Okay. Regina's got such an intricate pattern of tattoos all over her body.
Right.
How many panels did you get into the book before you said, I'm going to choke Ted so hard the first time I see him? Because you got to keep him consistent every panel.
Right. Well, the cool thing is that Ted himself he knows his way around. He's an artist as well. So by the time actually that we got, I don't know, Ted might remember how we actually got to this kind of agreement. But by the time that Regina's tattoos start appearing, which is like halfway through issue 1, maybe, Ted decided to add the tattoos on himself. So he's in charge of that, and he's the one who keeps because like you said, there's a lot of detail, not just in the tattoos, but in her costume itself. So there's a lot to track, and so it's so good that Ted decided to take on the tattoo duties, as it were, himself.
And I'm doing the coloring on it, so her costume alone. And I will throw this down. If there is a more detailed character in all of comics, who is it? Because I'm not sure there is. Because her outfit has all these, coins hanging everywhere and tassels and things, and it's just like, so out of respect for Butch's time, it wasn't like Butch could do it, but it's not fair. It's not fair to ask all that of him.
It's not so much the level of detail, like, Spider-Man's webbing. I always thought that an artist would go crazy trying to draw that costume all the time, because I did as a kid, try to draw it and make it look right. Or the how many levels of chainmail make up Red Sonja's bikini. It may be 12 in one, it may be 13 in another. No one cares. But here they're very specific tattoos that appear in a pattern. And I was like, oh man, I bet that's gonna if somebody takes a magnifying glass and wants to find mistakes. Oh yeah.
There may be some, but it's pretty consistent, because I did a mannequin. I much like the story. I made, that's how I started. Designing her. I bought a mannequin because I was having trouble doing it on paper. And then it was like, oh, it's all here and I can walk around. I took photographs of it so I would know. So it's fairly consistent, the tattoos. It's actually body paint, it's not tattoos, but
right.
I'm sorry, I'm laughing, but it just flashed. There's a scene in the Dukes of Hazzard movie where they're body painting on these students, and one of the outtakes was I don't know which one it was, Vince Vaughn maybe. There was an outtake of the body painting scene. And he's like painting on her breast, and he goes, "Made a mistake." I just pictured that as you're painting this mannequin in my head. Like,
right.
Oh, now Regina, she first made her appearance as a villain in Apama. Do you want to get into a little bit of that and what her history is with him?
Sure. Well, let's see what her history is with him. I mean, I guess the way to kind of ramp into Regina is to sort of get into, why we made the character. There was an area of the forest near where I grew up, and the kids, when I was in grade school, all the older siblings would talk about this Helltown area where the woods were taken over by, a neighborhood was taken over by the park system, and, decades and decades ago, so that you could be walking through the woods and all of a sudden there was abandoned houses. And it was alleged to be this cult activity and all kinds of stuff. So if you look up Helltown, Northeast Ohio, there's just tons of stories about it. So I thought, man, Apama being from Northeast Ohio, the Helltown cult, that would be the coolest thing ever. So who's the leader of the Helltown cult? And I had a video shoot, and we were shooting a person. I know I wanted it to be a woman, and I knew I wanted not sort of like an old spirit type. I wanted somebody who felt more contemporary, but more like a hippie. And I remember somebody talking about their tattoos. And usually you see a tattoo and they just, this is a picture of Popeye or whatever. But this woman was like, this one gives me strength because of this. This one.
Uh-oh. Ted froze. Ted, we can take tattoos on Ted now. Well, you're back, Ted.
Am I back?
You're back.
That was a bit.
You were talking about runic tattoos, and apparently you mentioned the wrong one because it just froze you in time.
Am I back now?
Yes.
Yeah.
All right. Well, anyway, and if I freeze out or something, Butch can take it on, I'm sure. But anyway, wherever it left me off, she was talking about her tattoos and what they all meant, and they were giving her power or navigation and things like that. So I thought, oh, this is really an interesting idea. We're going to make a villain who's got these symbols. And I actually did end up, I do film work. So I was shooting an event, and I came upon a performer who was just the right look for Regina. And I went up to her and I said, hey, it was just like it's in the story. Would you be open to doing a photo shoot? And she was pretty flattered by that. And then we couldn't get our schedules together. And in the meantime, this whole story jumped into my head.
Very cool. Now you have a video here for the Kickstarter we're getting ready to look at. So I'm going to add that to the stream here and take us out. Let people get a little glimpse of what it is that you are putting together here. So let's give this a play.
Bloom, the origin of a prophet. She's not a witch. She's not ancient. She's not possessed. She is an entity like no other. Bloom is a 4-issue series written and created by Ted Sikora with art by Butch Mapa. The year is 1969. Bloom, the origin of a prophet. Meet Ramsey, mechanic by day and aspiring comic book creator by night. One evening, when he tripped in the forest, he was bombarded by bizarre and mysterious glyphs. He tries to use the symbols to create a new villain, but he can't get it right until he goes to a festival and encounters Regina, a wild dancer, a free spirit. He invites Regina into the woods for a photo shoot. He paints the symbols onto her body, and then she becomes rated R for language, nudity. Photo cover featuring Alicia Lynn. Psychedelic A cover by the late great Bong Dazzle. Romance and mystery covers by Benito Gallego. Incentive cover by Donny Hadiwijawa. Or be drawn into the cult cover by Butch Mapa. Double-sized 48-page issue 1. Read Blue. Experience Blue. Live Blue. Read it like your very soul depends on it. Blue, the origin of a prophet. This April, Regina's coming for you.
You know what I think? This world we're in right now is the fairy tale. And what's really real is on the other side.
Am I froze again?
You're good.
Hi, Alicia.
Alicia, you're frozen. You'll have to drop out and jump back in. Oh, well.
These runes, man, these runes.
I'll tell you what, something's coming through the ether on these runes here.
Seriously.
Now, Speaking of these runes, is there any? Did you do any research on these runes to create them, or were they just kind of like, I want one kind of like spirals here and maybe a little, pointy thing here?
They're all original. I didn't want to copy anything because of the way they come to him, sort of in this sort of acid trip moment, dream when he's sketching. So I didn't feel it would have been right to take like pagan symbols or something and repurpose those. And this way they can be whatever I want them to be.
Yeah. Plus, you can trademark them just in case some other comic company decides to start putting similar symbols on somebody. Not that would ever happen to you.
No. Where did Alicia go? That was a nice surprise.
Well, it was supposed to be a surprise, and then it popped up next to the video, and then she was frozen. So I was like, well, that just...
Oh, man.
But here she is now. Alicia, we can see you moving this time.
Okay, great. Yay.
Hey, Alicia.
Hey, good evening. Happy Saturday, everyone. How's everyone doing?
Rocking
We're
out.
doing pretty good. Alicia is, of course, the cosplay cover for Bloom #1. If you are somebody who loves to collect the photo covers, that is definitely that was one of the big joys that I always had when I collected comics. Was like, oh my God, the superhero is real because it's a photograph.
Right.
I think my first one was that Spider-Man in the elevator cover.
Oh, yeah.
Peter Parker's taking the mask. I'm like, holy crap, that's a guy that's real.
I gotta say, it was definitely a blast to get to embody such an entity that is Regina, because she really does have a lot of personality. So it was really mind bending to get on into her. It was really a blast.
Now I didn't notice on the cosplay cover because I think it was just a close up, so you didn't have to get all body painted up with the tattoos and everything.
Yeah, we did the full thing.
Yeah.
It was
Cool.
Like an hour and a half probably to paint.
So are you
That
going
was-
to do that for conventions then?
Possibly.
Oh, that'll be nice.
We live a couple hours away, but I do this Pittsburgh con, but then you're always cosplaying Heroinberg at that one.
Well, I always do like a day for Heroinberg, which is the series that I act in. That's all female leads as the heroes and the villains, and it's Pittsburgh based. So we show up in character for kind of rock the booth babe jam a little bit, and which is always super fun. It's really great. Like people really respond. Like people are so fun at cons. I miss con life so hard.
Yes. I completely agree.
Yeah. So, I mean, I would be down for it if we can. I mean, that's even an event in itself, like to get painted. That would also really probably draw a lot of. I would go see what's going on. I'm going to know what that story is if I saw a lady getting painted at
Right,
any.
we could do it as the show is going. Yeah.
Yeah.
And that would be so cool to have her there with Tap Dance Killer.
Right, with Josie Jones. Yep. Yeah.
Do you have anybody in the Apama costume? Did you keep that from the movie?
We do. I have two of them. And there's a guy who often comes to the shows in one of the Apama costumes. So, yeah, we could get the whole gang together. I haven't had a punchline yet, but working on it.
Somebody, okay, you've said that you don't have one yet, and now somebody's going to work on it. He looks like this, guys. Take a picture. This is him.
Yes.
Big black guy who's willing to put on a clown costume and punch people. So shouldn't be too hard to find. So this is the new Kickstarter, and of course it's blacked out here because we just played the video. You're funded. We have nothing to do here, so
Yeah.
But
We need
we're gonna go through it anyway.
to fund future print runs and issues, and yeah, I mean it all goes back into the project. So
Now, was Punchline and the Vaudevillains this successful? Because this seems like it really jumped to the goal. And
this is
doubled it.
our biggest start for sure. All of our campaigns have been between 12 and 15,000. So we'll see where this one lands.
Well, you got still 22 days to go, so only 8 days, and you're 6,300 in.
4 days.
4 days. 4 days.
Right.
It was a 26. What kind of campaign is 26 days?
I don't know. I didn't want to go real long on this one because the middle of campaigns, it just seems they sort of really valley.
Sure.
So, you know.
I just thought they were all 30-day campaigns. That's, you know, the number stuck in my head, but I guess you can pick what you want. That's cool. And this is, of course, your fifth campaign. So you deliver on books. You're not one of these guys who has a 6-year-old Kickstarter that hadn't finished yet. And
Right.
there are too many of those. And I think that, you know, people should realize that you've got a real serious comic book business here going that's putting out books that are lots of fun to read. I have truly enjoyed every single issue of Apama, every single issue of Tap Dance Killer, and that first issue of Punchline and the Vaudevillains, which I'm not sure how you've pulled this off, Ted, but it's almost like I finished reading Apama and went right into Tap Dance Killer, and I did not feel like I shunted off to the side into a separate person story. It just feels like it bled right into it, and when Apama comes up, I'm probably going to feel like I'm just leading right out of Punchline and back into Apama. Is that on purpose? Is that just a happy accident?
No, I always kind of treat this like a road trip, you know, across country, and we don't know where we know where we're going, but we're going to stop all these places on the way, whatever looks cool. Yeah. And that was very much what's happened with Tap Dance Killer. You know, that was like a stop in the road, and then it became its own thing, and then Punchline out of that. So it's sort of just an intuition. If I feel like this is the project I'm supposed to take next, it goes that way, and I try really hard to make the transition seamless.
So like we're going to Oregon, but we're just aiming the car northwest.
Yeah,
and seeing what
and we're not taking any highways, you know.
Not taking any highways. Yeah, it's all farm roads,
Yeah.
which is actually fun.
Can I say something about that cover you have up there?
Please, this is the colorful thing.
So one of the people I told you there were 200 people that had tried out or submitted work to Bloom or Tap Dance Killer because we were doing both. And this was a guy by the name of Bong Dazo, and you know, that was his sort of tryout image. You know, I was paying people to do images that I could use as a cover or a pinup, and you know, I couldn't really get too far with Bong because we just didn't have a real good. Our languages, you know, do you know exactly where he's from, Butch?
You know what? I don't. I only met him like once, and that was like a long time ago.
Okay, you did meet him though.
Yeah.
At a show.
I probably like my memory's terrible, but yeah, I think I was introduced to him a long time ago. Like it was even before he did this Marvel stuff. So I don't know what he was doing at the time.
But we couldn't communicate real well because I don't know where he was from exactly. I mean, we just when we were emailing back and forth,
The language barrier.
We weren't getting anywhere. So, you know, the nuance of Bloom I wouldn't have been able to do with him. So we didn't get far. But I love that image, and you know, decided to color it and use it as sort of our main cover here. And then he passed away. So this will be one of the last images that he will have published. So it's kind of a bittersweet honor, I guess. I don't know how to describe that really, but it's extra special because of the sort of the spirit energy behind that one, in my opinion.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I'm looking at this cover, and Ted, I'll be honest with you, I have not scrolled through this whole thing yet to see what your stretch goals are or your add-ons. However, I'm going to be pissed as hell at you if I get through this whole thing and there is not a black light poster for Bloom. I mean, this thing, if any campaign ever screamed for a black light poster, it's the psychedelic 60s.
Right. Yeah.
We do have a poster of that as a reward, a 24x36. Not black light, mind you, but I looked up black light because a couple people have asked me, but That's my fear, is that there'd be like a couple people that would like a blacklight poster. There's,
Okay, everybody who wants a blacklight poster, at Ted Sikora on
Please,
Twitter.com. Just say, just hashtag
I will find a way.
Bloom. Get it going right now. Blacklight Bloom on Twitter, and make sure that Ted sees it. Get it trending, and it'll happen. See,
I have to ask Butch, because you've never met Alicia before.
Yeah.
Doesn't she have a great Regina vibe?
Absolutely. Yeah, that's true. So of course Ted like updates me with whatever happens with Bloom and stuff, and he showed me pictures of his photo shoot with Alicia like a few weeks ago, and Ted was like raving, like, "Oh, look at her! I only saw like still pictures, but even in the still pictures with no movement, you can see like Alicia has that lively, because that's the character of Regina. She's, especially at the start of the story, she's very energetic and vibrant, and has a certain like type of movement, I guess, and you could see that even in those still images. So yeah, like Ted was like raving about your work, Alicia.
Well, thank you so much. I have to say, like, every time I hear something else about who Regina is as a character, I feel attacked. Like, I just feel so much like, oh my God, this is so me. Like, dancing and
I was going to ask if you were a dancer.
Yes. Dancer first, and I'm taking up singing lately. And traveling and performing, and I work with a lot of belly dancers, so it is sort of kind of like it's been enmeshed in my way of dancing, a lot of those moves, and just like her entire embodiment of who she is and who she wanders into, and the conversation of like I'm obsessed with cults a little bit. I love cults. It's just such a fascinating study of.
Don't drink Kool-Aid.
What's that?
Don't drink any Kool-Aid they offer you.
Yeah, but wait, it's sweet and sugary.
Yeah, like antifreeze.
What could possibly go wrong? You told me to trust. But yeah, I've been studying cults a lot lately, and they have been, it's been kind of relevant. If you watch the news, it's been a little bit helpful even. But anyway, all the music that's going on at that time, like my mom was a teenager in that era. My dad was young at that time. So like my backseat soundtrack growing up is everything that Regina would have been dancing and vibing and moving to. So I feel so close to her, and like, so getting to be her, it really seemed like a kismetic meeting and opportunity, and she's just so fun. So it's a neat little dark side to play into.
Yeah, when I said the other day on a post, I was like, thank you for merging with Regina, because it wasn't just sort of, there was more than just playing this character or dressing.
Oh my gosh. By the way, I drove home after the shoot, and it's like about a 2-hour drive, and I'm trying to make sure that I stay ahead of weather. So I'm speeding, but like I'm also like still wearing all of the paint, my entire body under what I'm wearing. So that also means that I have that eye happening and everything. And I just feel so dramatic whenever I'm stopping for gas. And then whenever I finally get home, I'm like, I had to work up washing it all off because it was too fun. I did like a little dance session whenever I got home.
Oh.
Yeah, it was a lot of woo-woo was happening, but it was pretty great.
Now, okay, I'm doing that thing again, Ted, that I do with all my guests when I start talking about their projects, and I start taking ownership of things and thinking, this is what I want to do. And it's not my thing to do it with, but because we have Alicia here, and because you have, and I'm sorry I keep spacing on her name, who does tap dance killer. I know it when you say it, but I never remember it. Josie. and because we have Heroinberg in the chat. We've got to make it happen to where the Heroinberg and the Apama universe collides video-wise with a special adventure. And everybody freezes.
I'm open to, like, we could do a group pinup even, or a photo shoot or whatever. Yeah.
Well, I'm thinking that he does the episodes. You could write.
Actual video. Maybe.
Yeah. Get that. It happens in comics all the time. This could be the first time that a web broadcast series of cosplay superhero action collides with another one.
I didn't even see this whole.
And you couldn't not bring Apama into it. It could stay the Heroinberg all-female character thing.
I did not see all this stuff on the side. Look at all this. I didn't know there were all these comments. I'm just catching up.
And, and nobody said that. I just there they all are.
Yeah. Well, that's what was. That's the reason we're here today, because I was at Steel City Con. Manny and Heroinberg were right across from me. We were looking at each other's booth the whole show, and Alicia came in for one of the days as Scintilla.
Yep. And
yeah, it was just the way she approached the booth, and I told her I was talking about Tap Dance Killer then, and
yep.
You kind of walked into the place like you were walking onto a yacht or something. No, it was so, you had this sort of floaty energy, and I thought, man, that and then talking to you, and I told you a little bit about Regina, and she's in a band and all this, and she's like, oh, I'm in a band. Oh, you're in a band, all right. So yeah, there was just and that show Steel City happens 3 times a year.
Mm-hmm.
So
I got to see you a lot.
Yeah, it's a different kind of show in that way. It's there's like almost a family neighborhoody kind of quality to it, because you feel like you have regular customers and things, and so yeah, we always kind of say, hey, we got to do this shoot one of these days, and thankfully one of these days happened.
Yeah, finally. It took the world finally shut down.
Right, that's what it took.
God almighty.
Did that slow down Bloom? Because it seems like Bloom is in happening for a while now, and I didn't know if it got slowed down because of the
big time. Yeah, Bloom was to be nationally released last June, and it was in that meant it was in the April preview guide. So the April catalog was to be distributed the week everything shut down. So my Diamond rep said, "This is a terrible week to release terrible month to release a #1 issue." Because the stores aren't even sure they're going to be able to pay for their Marvel and DC comics, let alone some unknown indie. So luckily we were able to stop the presses. And what was good about that is Butch and I were able to get, I think, a whole other issue done. Yeah. So we are now 3 issues fully illustrated out of 4.
Oh, so they'll be launching hot on the heels of the completion and delivery of this one then.
Yeah, we're going to release them all this year. So it's going to be bam, bam, bam. Like I'm going to be doing a diamond solicitation and a Kickstarter every 2 months, every 3 months to get them all out this year.
So when you say all of them, is that 3 issues, 4 issues, 6? 4 issues. 4-issue miniseries, Bloom, and it's, again, it's not the character name, it's the titling, so it's her blooming into Regina. Where does that title come from? What's it mean?
Milo gave me that title when he read it, because at the time I was calling it Muse or just Regina, but when he read it, Milo's the co-writer and co-producer of the movie Hero Tomorrow, co-writer on Apama. He said, "Hey, what do you think of the name Bloom?" And I loved it. I just thought, oh, that's perfect.
If you have not read any of the books before from Hero Tomorrow and you just want to try this one out, $5 will get you the PDF. That's a throw this money away just to give it a taste. Take my word for it. You're going to want paper.
This is the ground zero launch moment of the Hero Tomorrow comics universe. Like, you certainly don't have to know anything else that came after this story to read this story, because this one takes place in 1969.
That's true. This is taking place before any of the events of Apama, which is your sort of masthead title.
Right.
And you can get the number one with the print. Is this the print here, the one that?
No, it'll be one that I do. So
okay.
It'll be.
We'll see it when we scroll down.
It's not here yet.
Okay.
Mystery print.
I'm just going to scroll down. I'm going to guess that they're probably going to be down here because it's Kickstarter and it does that. No, it doesn't. I'm going to have to scroll over here. Okay.
No, the print. You will not see the print. I have not made it yet.
No, I was thinking that the title, the costs might appear on the left, the big left part, instead of just the little skinny part.
Yeah, it does when you get way down.
Okay. Well, we'll just keep with here then. You can get number one with your choice of Bloom number one cover A, B, C, or D for $12, which comes with a signature, and it comes with the print that is signed and free shipping in the U.S. So, and Jazz Crab asked an interesting question. Kickstarter for variant covers A, B, C, and D. None of those will be the diamond cover.
The A and C cover are available through Diamond.
Okay. So B and D are the ones that are available through Kickstarter for those who are
they're
Kickstarter.
Exclusive to the campaign. And it says that on there. So if you go look at A real quick at the top, it says available retail edition. See that?
I see it. There we go. Yeah. Makes sense. So this one is the one you will be able to get in the stores afterwards. But since you're here, go ahead and get it here. Cover B, not available in stores. I love this cover. I love the old style comics cover where there were word balloons on it. It was almost like a scene from the movie.
You know what I can show you here? Let me see if I can find it. So I did, I met as I was saying, I met a dancer who I had asked to pose for Regina, which kind of spawned the whole thing. I always say she's Regina's godmother, but this is the layout of the photo I took of her.
Oh, look at that.
Look at that.
And it was a different caption at the time, but that was how we sort of did it. That's Soma. Oh, that's Soma right there. And I changed the look of her face because out of respect for her privacy.
Which we've just blown now by showing the picture.
That's true. Yeah. No, she doesn't mind though, because she's used some of the photos for her dancing.
That's very cool to see that done. I mean, I'm guessing. I mean, Regina's not tattooed; she's painted on.
Yes, that's an important point because she could go out into the public incognito.
But does she? I mean, does she ever take the tattoos off?
Yep.
And when she does she lose her abilities? Not telling. Okay, that's a secret. That's a lot of work to do. I didn't know because there's a lot of magical things happen in your world, Ted. Even with Tacticular, I still haven't figured out exactly how they all got their powers. It's just like, when are you going to get back around to telling us who this person was in issue 1?
Right.
Back in Apollo.
Well, there's another punch. They're all in Punchline in the Vaudevillains, so you may find out in that series.
Okay. I mean, I almost don't want to because I'm one of those people who liked the fact that Wolverine was Logan and nobody knew why or how anything ever happened before that. It was like, oh no, he's Logan. The whole thing, it's a mystery. Joker's real name? Not a clue. He was some nobody.
Yeah, no, I'm not in a hurry to get that out there. I'm not in any hurry, but I do know, but I'm not.
All right. Cover C, the cult cover. Now, this is the one where you can get, folks, there's a level in here where you can get drawn onto the cover. A lot of books have the level where you can get drawn into the book. You will be on the front-facing thing, and this is a Kickstarter exclusive. So this is not a retail.
Half of them are gone, so yeah.
Oh wow!
Then move, folks. you definitely want to get in on this. That's going to be cool, Butch. It's going to be a lot of real faces to get drawn in there.
Yeah. It's Hey, it's worth it. I mean, if you guys support what we're doing, I'll draw your face.
There you go. Cover D, the romance style. This goes back to the. This will be a retailer variant. This goes back to the old days of the romance comics with a little bit of 60s stuff in it.
Yeah.
And yeah, this was always the romance cover was like, there was a guy and a girl, and then there was either another guy and another girl somewhere off to the side, which is like, it was that whole, every cover was that meme that you see on the internet, the guy looking back at the other girl, and she's like, what's she got that I haven't got?
Right. Yeah.
And you see Ramsey being entranced with Regina the dancer, and his girlfriend's wanting to go home, and he's not having any of it, which is actually that's in the book. That's a scene from the book. Now, where are they at? There's a fire escape behind her. They're in the city. Is that New York or Pittsburgh or?
This is Cleveland, man.
Cleveland. Cleveland's a happening town.
Yeah, we got a lot going on.
Well, it's Superman.
Right.
Now this. I can hear the Doors playing. Alicia.
Yeah.
Alicia, talk about reaching out to folks here on this cover. Because that's some serious design work there, man.
That was, and the Doors were playing.
Really?
Oh, wow.
We probably played 5 of their albums when we were shooting. Yeah.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, that was so fun. And I love the way that this turned out. It really does it also gives me like that Faster Pussycat Kill Kill, like we were talking about Beyond the Valley of the Dolls, which like if anybody has ever caught that cult classic, I mean, do yourself a favor if you're out there and you have not. Do jump in. It's great. But like this was just, and Ted, by the way, like it was really fun to work with you. Like you were, your communication as a director, like with everything being on pause for so long while we try and get the world back, to healthy and safe again. It was really gorgeous to be directed and you have such a good guiding hand. It was really safe to work with you, and I just really appreciated that and wanted to make sure that was also noted and said.
Oh, well, thank you. And I can say it's really just the best to work with somebody who's so sort of uninhibited and just willing to try anything and just put yourself out there, because I always find that working with people, it's hard to, some people you can't get them far enough, but I'd rather have somebody that's too far out there and maybe rein them in a little bit. And I think you could go that whole direction. You've got you got a wide range of skill sets to pull from, and that really came in handy over and over.
Now, Alicia, I got a question.
Please.
You've done photo sets before, because you're a cosplay model. You're a professional at this. Is it normal? And I don't mean normal like, hey, this is getting kind of weird. I mean, is it the usual thing that it takes hours of photo shoots to get one picture, to get one that's perfect, the cover that's going to be used?
What I will say is, I'm like not signed with anybody, but I do a lot of independent work. And there are, I usually only work with people that I can feel uninhibited with. Like I don't always feel safe. So I can't always take it there. But in those circumstances, when I find those people that I do get to work with and do feel safe working with, we play for hours. And then we actually end up usually with a whole bunch of really fun shots, and it's up to the situation. Sometimes you might be shooting for multiple stills that you want to, be able to distribute. I started out as a burlesque entertainer, so like you'll go for multiples of a set to like for one costume, because you want to highlight just how fun it is to work like that one garment, you know?
Yeah.
So it really, it's very situational. It's very, every case is its own.
And you can't really jump right into a mood either. You've really got to build up to that. And that mood does translate across in the image that gets taken. So I could see where it would take hours of, you know, getting into character and getting into the movements before just snap everything focused on that one moment.
Absolutely. And like that is part of, you know, I always say it's putting on your war paint. Whenever you're putting on your makeup and you're getting into character, like that is, I don't want to say ritualistic, but it is kind of ritualistic. It's one of those things where it's sacred. I feel that's actually maybe probably even a better word for it. It's like it's a sacred act, getting yourself into that place and transcending, and especially whenever you're involved in a project that really does mean something, and like that is actually why I also do think that this is cool. Like the idea of this, where this journey is going with Bloom, it's just incredibly cool because, like I said, the idea of like cults in that time period, there's a lot to unpack from that era that sort of kind of really built the today that we're in. So it's from a retrospective, very relevant still, which is just super cool.
Yeah. And of course, I just now realized that this is a 4-issue series. So there's probably 3 other cosplay covers that will come from that set. She did many, we got many beautiful shots. Yes. Cool. Ted, I'm trying to spend more of your money again here, but I'm seeing this image and I'm just wondering how it would be if that background was printed on a lenticular cover so that it would, so if you tilted the book up and down, it would like. That'd be hot.
Would get you high.
Yeah. Yeah, it probably would.
We didn't shoot it in a lenticular way, but I guess the background could move.
Yeah, that's what I meant. The background.
Just the background?
The background would, you know, like do that.
I guess I could look into that.
That's what I do. I spend other people's money.
No, lenticular is a good idea for this. Yeah.
Cover F. Did we go past? I guess we did A, B, C, and D. So you caught them. Cover F. This is retailer incentive. So this is not the retailer variant, but this is the next level up. Donnie, you say the name because I can't.
Hadiwi Jawa.
Hadiwi Jawa. Thank you. I will get it now. This is hot. This is a hot cover. Now, is there a serpent involved in Regina's background here?
She's got them all over her body. There's like a multi-headed snake. So, and there is something that will be going on in issue 4. It's not that literal.
But it'll relate to it. This is I love this costume. She's got the bangles. She's got the bells. You can hear her coming. She's not going to sneak up on you.
Colors by David Baff-Gallard on that one.
Very cool. I want all of them. I want all these covers. So let's see what's going to take to get them. $5 for the digital, $12 a piece for A, B, C, or D. Now, we haven't gotten to the cosplay. That was this one here. That's cover E. But for $19, you can get the cosplay, which was good. Answered my question. Not only autographed by Ted Sikora, but autographed by Alicia Lynn. So this is already, has this been printed yet? Is this done, or you got to get together and do the signings?
No, they'll be printed all at the same time. So, yeah.
So Alicia's gonna have to drive back again.
No, she won't have to drive. I'll come her way this time.
That'll work. Also, the signed print, which we haven't seen yet. Now, Ted, are you drawing the print or?
Yes.
Okay. I don't think I've ever seen your artwork, Ted. If I have,
I could show you something. Carry on. I'll find something while you're.
$33 will get you A, B, C, or D. The comic will be signed by Ted. You'll get the signed print, and you'll get the Regina shirt. And I'm going to scroll down there and see if that Regina shirt is there. But let me tell you, Ted's shirts rock. This Punchline shirt, I've got the Tap Dance Killer shirt. The
Sorry.
colors are the most vibrant I've ever seen. The fabric is the softest shirt in my T-shirt drawer. Tell you can quit doing comics, just sell shirts.
I did that one.
All right, got you full screen there. Oh, cool.
Right on.
Is the print that we're going to be getting actually done yet, or are you still working on that?
It could be a variation on that one, but we'll see. It's not done.
All right. Well, we don't want to show anything that's not done, because you want to show it at its best. You guys really went into the psychedelic thing on this, because that's creeping me out. That's like,
well, you know what's so funny about this? We got together when Butch. You want to tell the story, Butch?
Oh yeah, I visited so I live in the Philippines, and I visited the States. Was it like, oh man, 2 years ago? Was it already 2 years ago?
Gosh, I don't think so, but maybe it was.
Yeah, it's hard to tell these days. But yeah, and I happen to have family in Liverpool, Ohio. So I just messaged Ted, and he's like, "Yeah, that's like a few hours away from me, or like an hour away." And luckily, we were able to set up our schedules where we were able to meet up in person, and he gave me some cool Apama swag, and
I got original artwork. I did much better.
yeah, I was able to give him the original pages that I'd already drawn up to that point. So it was really cool meeting and hanging out with Ted, and we were so lucky that we took pictures, and now he's able to use some of the shots. I'm not as pretty as Alicia, but at least we have some material to work with.
We were in a parking lot, though, and it was just like the sun was perfect, but behind us was nothing but this parking lot that looked awful, And I'm like, oh, I can't use this picture for us. But we were together at this, and I'm like, I know what I'll do. I'll just get rid of the background.
Yeah, Photoshop to the rescue.
Yeah.
I do that so much in PowerPoint. I can't believe how powerful that tool is. It's. Now, are there any tiers? I stopped with the T-shirt. I shouldn't have done that, because there's probably going to be more. Cover Bouquet, Bloom number 1 by Bongdazo, Bloom number 1B by Gallego, double L's. Go with that. Gotta remember how that works. Bloom number 1C by Mapa, Bloom number 1D by Gallego. It's just all of them, A through F. Signed with the print, your name listed in the shout outs, $47. You've seen that snake cover. That's going to be a hard one to get, because it's going to be a retailer incentive, which means that you're going to get there too late. It's going to be picked up by the first person who gets in the store. Get it here on Kickstarter while you're first in line.
The photo cover is limited to 500, and the snake cover won't be sold after this campaign.
And that's why this is limited to 25 backers on this level here, this tier. So
it's not. That one's not limited. That's just no. That's how many you backed it.
Oh, never mind. I misread what Kickstarter put there. I'm used to seeing limited to right there, but yeah, 25 people back that, which just goes to show how popular that particular one is. Right. The one thing I wish Kickstarter wouldn't do is green the screen out every time I mouse over, because I use my mouse as my finger pointer to tell me where I am. And I can't read the thing. You can get the entire Digital Hero Tomorrow library. That's almost a dozen issues of Apama, 4 issues of Tap Dance Killer, which is 5.
It's 5, yeah.
It's a whole hardcover trade paper. I wish if I hadn't packed up all my books for the move, I would pull it out and show you again. I always show the back first before I show the front, because there's important information.
I have it right here. I can show exactly what you're talking about. That.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Look at that. Best series of the year, voted on by the readers of Critical Blast.
And this one right here, Jim Shooter.
See, if you respect and know Jim Shooter's taste, then you know that is a very important statement there. And that it's funny, she's right behind you too. So the yours was you're the first time in all of our history. You're the first time that one single comic book team swept the best comic, best writer, and best artist award. Tap Dance Killer was. That repeated this year with another one now. So we just announced that yesterday, in fact, because our awards have wrapped up and we counted the votes. So the folks at American Mythology took all 3 honors with their starring Sonia Devereaux series. So
cool.
The indie people can do this. The big 2 cannot. That library will also include the Punchline and the Vaudevillains, which was just on Kickstarter handful of months back.
Yeah,
I got my copy. It's gorgeous, and I love the story. And I love that we never really got to get into his character in the Tap Dance Killer because it wasn't really about him. He was like being introduced and he's going to do some stuff. But here we get to see that he's a poet. He's got some depth to him. I liked him writing poetry.
I appreciate that.
We got some preview pages here.
Now we got Butch Mapa here. Take us through it.
Sorry, I was reading the comments. This is if you click on the link to the Kickstarter, you'll see, I don't know how many pages are on there, like a few, first 7 or 8 pages, fully inked, fully lettered, fully colored, so you can go ahead and read a preview of the story, see if you want to go ahead and support the story. But yeah, this was how we started our story. This is actually the first few pages of issue 1, and right away you can see that everything happens in Cleveland, and we're introduced to Ramsey, our star, and we get a little bit of the setting, so that it's happening in 1969, and you see what what happens when he ends up buying a mannequin or finding a mannequin at a thrift shop, and people give him crap about it, including his fiance. So if you want to get a taste of the story that's fully colored, fully lettered, so you can see what you're gonna get when you back the Kickstarter, go ahead and just take a look at our link.
And that
what
link
I love
is
about
below.
And I think what this shows, if you go scroll this next panel, this big one, come up, keep coming. Look at that crowd scene. Oh, you go down again, where we get that top panel. I just love the personality in these faces, and that's the thing that Butch has over so many artists, is just sort of this humanity.
Everybody's a person. Yeah,
you just kind of feel like you're looking at real folks in a real place, and I think Butch is a very selfless artist in that he really, you can tell he cares about the story a lot, and I'm just honored to be working with you, Butch.
I like doing research for the story, because remember, it happens in the past, so I needed to look at a lot of reference material for fashion, for hairstyles and stuff like that, and Ted also sent me references that I could look at, and sometimes you see this. I think I saw some yearbook photos from complete strangers. Of course, I don't know these people,
sure.
But somehow their images are online, so it adds a little bit. I can take a little bit from what I see in that personality and develop it, in addition to whatever's on the script, of course. So I can, you can, because a lot of the time, people's personalities show up on their faces. You know what I mean? Even if they're not, you can tell, not just in their facial expressions, but maybe even a little bit of their physical appearance. So I just try to, if I can, I try to pick up a little bit of that and translate it onto the page. So it gives me a little bit more to work with. So all the faces aren't the same, so people can at least, especially if you're looking at it, there are some subtleties and details there that help differentiate the characters from one another.
Well, I mean, if you look at this top panel crowd scene, and folks, I hope you got a bigger monitor than my laptop is, because I'm looking at my bigger screen off here to the side. If you look at that crowd scene all the way in the back, between the middle two word balloons, you can tell that this guy is smiling and talking to somebody and animated, and this guy is 80 feet back from the front of the page. Most comic artists, when it's a crowd scene, it's like, Lois and Clark and animal cracker cookies. They've just been, they're not fully realized. They're kind of lumpy and undetailed because, I got to fill this panel with crowd, main characters. So I love being able to see that, you put the attention to detail in here. And the main character is still highlighted because the lighting on them is, the spotlight is literally on them. And that's how they stand out from the crowd. They don't have to be distinct against an amorphous person's hanging around thing. And then there's Regina.
That's Ted on the colors too.
I have to give a shout out to David Anthony Kraft. Do you know who he is, RJ?
I do know who he is. I've been trying to get a hold of him because I've been I've been talking with Henry Vogel, who did Southern Nights years and years and years ago. And he's the guy who has all the print files that we need to get to be able to do a omnibus of that series.
Neat. Oh, I can put you in touch with them. So I was introduced to him by my friend Henri Campen, and who you know as well.
Yes, I do.
And being a Bronze Age guy, and we're very influenced by the Bronze Age comics. I got to give him a Palma and Tap Dance Killer, and he said he really liked our work, our stories, but he goes, "I really don't like your coloring." And I said, "Why don't you like my coloring?" He said, "You color everything like the coffee cup on the back of the table is as important as the character." I'm like, "Well, I want to see everything," but he really got me thinking in terms of making sure the characters that you're supposed to be paying attention to have a little more pop on them. So that really turned me around, and I think this Bloom, the coloring I'm doing on Bloom, I do feel is the best of my career.
It's excellent. I mean, again, right here on this panel here, the colors are still good in the background, and then the deep foreground. Deep foreground, is that a way to say that? But the light again is on Regina because this is her scene. The others aren't blurred out or anything. You can still make out all the details, but you can tell where the eye is drawn. It has nothing to do with Regina wearing a crop top or whatever. It's all lighting. And this is just continuing on Regina getting wild here. Now, Alicia, were you doing the whole head throw things and getting the hair going?
The hair that I was wearing at the time, it's a plug-in, and I was not prepared for whipping, but it was her movement for that space and what we were trying to exude, what was coming through was much more serpentine, which was really seemed to be much more appropriate. So like there were head rolls, but not so much the hair whipping. I also needed to make sure that I kept track of those feathers in my hair. Because a little bit of turbulence. But I do want to say though, speaking to your commentary about the lighting in these stills here, I want to also remark on the fact that like as this kid who travels around dancing at festivals where everybody's dancing around fire barefoot to like drum circles and stuff like that, and there's this really like world traveler, caravan-esque hippie vibe to everything, and a didgeridoo off in the distance. Those kind of festivals, which I love doing, that community and like that twinkling light sort of kind of like otherworldly place you get put in. I really feel that looking at these. And it's such a vibe where it's like anything could happen. Everything always just feels so electric with possibility. And I just so get all of that from this, and with like this sort of kind of like meet cute, if you will, of Doom. It's just it's really gorgeous, and I just applaud and just it's really beautiful.
Appreciate it.
So, Ted, I got to ask you now, and this probably should have come up like a half hour ago, but it comes up when it comes up. Ramsey's drawing her because she's a villain in this comic book that he's creating, which begs the question: who's the hero, and does it matter?
Yeah, well, that will be answered real quick in issue 1.
Okay.
Yeah, and there's drawings of his hero in his room there, if you look close enough.
I did see the hero, and I was like, "Is that who I thought that was?" Because is this the hero right here with the kind of the mohawk and the Mothman eyes? Okay, so that's not an Apama, is it?
You're gonna have to read this one, RJ.
Oh, okay. I'm not gonna spoil it, but if it is, then there is something multiversal, cosmic happening behind the scenes of Cleveland.
It's not multiverse, but yeah, it's cosmic. I'll give you that.
Something's breaking through to the other side here. So this is where I could have just gone to here instead of going through those green screens. This is the $12 with the print. Any issue, A, B, C, or D. Here's the Hammer Horror Films cover. It's what strikes me as this has got Suspira written all over it.
Yeah.
$19 for the photo cover. And again, by the way, this is free shipping in the U.S. for everything. Am I right? Am I overstating?
Yeah.
Okay, so the number you're seeing behind the $, that's the number you're committing to if you're in the U.S. The Regina T-shirt. Oh, this is the design for the shirt. This is what I hadn't seen yet. So, wow. This is going to be black and white
It's
on
gonna be whatever fabric color you want. So that's something we're doing new with this one. You'll have there may be 10 choices of fabric that you can put that design on.
Don't pick black. You won't be able to see it.
It would probably work with a dark gray. It actually looks pretty cool with a dark gray. Yeah. But black won't be an option.
Here's the cover bouquet where you get all 6 covers and you'll get the mystery print. Everything signed. Of course, this bloom cover here will be double signed because Alicia's going to be signing books.
Yeah, at every level. Yeah.
This is if you're not into the T-shirt, this is the deal to get. Is the T-shirt an add-on? Do you have that kind of capability? Okay. Yep. Get the cover bouquet of bloom and then throw the T-shirt onto it.
Throw the shirt on, and you can also add the poster if you want.
Oh, you know what? I bet that would still pop under a black light just because of the neon colors you're using there. I mean,
good.
Yeah, it would be better if all the blacks were done in black velvet overlay, but Ooh, look at this trade collections here. This is awesome. Also very awesome. This is the library. This is are these PDFs?
No, this is print.
This is print. Oh my gosh. Wow. So you're getting both volumes of Apama collected, 176 pages, 184 pages. Tap Dance Killer, 176 pages. Jeez. The only issue so far of Punchline and the Vaudevillains. The print, the signature option. This is everything right here. You get the entire Hero Tomorrow universe delivered for $69 because it's 1969. So did that play into the pricing there?
Sure.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. We absolutely. I meant to do that. $75 every single Hero Tomorrow comics issue. You don't want the trade paperbacks, or not trade paperbacks. I think some of them are hardcover, or are they all paper?
The TDK Tap Dance Killer is hardcover.
Okay, and a very handsome hardcover it is too, by the way. If you want floppies, because you like them in your box, $75. You get everything in a floppy, including A, B, C, or D of this. Now I haven't asked what issue of Punchline and the Vaudevillains they would get. I've got 2 different covers, but I'm guessing you're down to your retail cover now.
No, they would have a choice on that. But the other thing about this is that's got that first appearance of Regina in Apama 5. So.
Oh, that's true. That's true. So yes, she did appear in Apama number 5. So you would have would it be a first printing of Apama number 5? I mean, you've got inventory. Mm-hmm. So yeah, when she takes off as a character that's going to be in a movie somewhere, you're going to have Apama number 5. And you say, hey, he is first appearance. $75. That's a great deal for what, 11, 16, 17, 18 comics that are pretty hard to find now. CGC, you guys are getting into that now.
Mm-hmm.
A, B, C, or D, under glass, 9.8 graded, $109. Get this one as an add-on because you won't be able to read it. So,
well, you'll get the printed one. You'll get the loose ones too. So you know.
Oh,
it comes with it.
You
get all the. You get the other 3.
I see that. Okay, thank you, because that's the only thing I would hate about CGC is like, yeah, they look great, but I can't read them. Same here for the CGC Signature Series Mondo. And here you get A, B, C, D, E, and F, and the 9.8 graded chase cover.
Whichever cover you want. It could also be the Alicia cover.
It's
your choice.
If I read, yeah, I would learn it.
And then that's 2 signatures under glass on that one.
Very, very cool. So if you want Alicia under glass, you could do that.
Yep.
Frame her on your wall.
Doing the mime thing there.
Yeah. This is the Drawn Into the Cult. This is where if you want to get your face on this cover, $250. And you get more than just your face drawn on the cover here. What are you getting here? You are getting the 11 by 17 print of cover C. Now that's
the same cover we're talking about.
So you're getting a print of the cover that your face is drawn on. That's amazing. That is super cool. You're getting cover A, B, C. You're getting 5 copies of C, which is the one you're drawn on, so you can give one to grandma and one to your boss at work, and
yeah,
and just say, "Look, I am somebody." I was
you can use it to get into bars.
Yeah, absolutely. Sign autographs, bypass the bouncer. You're getting A, B, C, D, E, and F, all 6 covers, plus the other print, plus this is a print. 5 copies of C, $250.
Why does
It's just as good as a passport.
Really? Yeah, sure. No, let me in the country. See, this is me. It was printed in the U.S. Yeah. Okay.
Brilliant.
$500. This is the top, the big kahuna. This is 2 CGC Signature Series of your choice. All 6, 2 Regina shirts, and a signed print. And the Bloom mystery variant. So there's a G cover.
Printed on metal cover.
A metal G cover.
What is that like?
If this doesn't hit your comic collecting G spot, something's wrong with you. How many people have taken this pledge?
2.
2.
Wow. Thank you.
Join the very elite club. It will be a mystery cover.
Preach.
On metal. Is it going to be color? I mean, are you infusing the metal with what do they call that? Subluminal, subdermal? I don't know.
I don't know how they do it, but they do.
And they can do it in color, and it looks beautiful. I've seen it done. Guaranteed that book will never leave mint condition because you cannot. It won't bend.
Well, and it's really limited to 15 copies printed. Like there will be no more copies of that made.
Aha, yes, this one really does say limited 13 left out of 15. So if you're a hardcore collector of comics, first of all, if you want good comics, you get these. These are Bronze Age style stories. They really are. I mean, you don't have to explain the science of everything. You don't have to get into the whole every molecule of my life kind of thing.
If you are feeling tech overloaded, this is your remedy, because I don't know how you feel about it, Butch, but it's something I've noticed recently. Whenever I'm working on this project, I just love that there's these two people lost in the woods and they have no cell phones, and it's sort of it's really nice to just come back to sort of the earth for a story that doesn't have stark tech or whatever. I'm kind of I love the whole vibe of the 60s, and it just feels really very different, I think.
Right.
Yeah, I wasn't even alive. Well, I was 2 years old in '69. So yeah, it's a much simpler time in more ways than one for me. But yeah, it's just a character, and things are happening to them, and he just rolls with it. Or in this case, Ramsey just rolls with it. I was thinking of Apama and his ice cream truck and his gang of hoodlums that always give him the business. Well, and I like that too. He's not. Character. Yeah, that's the one thing I do love about Apama, is that he's not, working in a science lab somewhere. He's not a police scientist. He's an ice cream truck driver trying to make ends meet. And it's the old Peter Parker vibe again. So I am not seeing that number having raised up tonight, Ted. And I don't know why that didn't happen, because we had a lot of people in the chat, and they're missing out on a great book. If they haven't pledged to this, then they just don't. If you haven't pledged to this, you just don't like comics. I'm just going to say it.
Well, there's time. We got 22 days.
22 days. This is a Saturday. It's not a payday. So, dye sublimation. Thank you, Heroinberg. I knew it was a sub something or other. That's the printing on metal process, dye sublimation. Because we had a guy on here who does it a month ago. It was a very interesting discussion. Ted, is there anything that I didn't touch on here? Because I tried to go through all the different variants.
Yeah, I thought you were pretty thorough.
I try to be without being boring, the whole thing, but let's talk about schedule here, because you're going to get all 4 of them done this year. It's done in 22 days. It's going to deliver, probably says down here, March 2021. So April, we're launching Bloom number 2.
As crazy as it sounds.
That's just right around the corner. So, folks, get in on Bloom number 1, because when Bloom number 2 hits, you're going to want to hit that one hard and fast. You will not have any doubts about wanting Bloom number 2 after you've read Bloom number 1. And I can say that because I've read Bloom number 1. I've got the sneak PDF.
The connection.
Is it going to be a year of Bloom? I mean, is it going to be Bloom 1, Bloom 2, Bloom 3, Bloom 4, or are we going to get Bloom 1, Punchline 2, Bloom 2, Punchline 3, Apama 12?
Great question. The fact that the first 3 issues of Bloom are already illustrated is going to push that up front, just because of the reality of the time I have. So I believe somewhere in the middle of the year, Punchline 2 will probably come out. But that's just being started in production. So I got like the first 2 pages illustrated, but we're a ways off on that.
All right. And you don't really need another issue.
Butch and I are going to be working on issue 4. So that's kind of, I really like this whole thing to come out this year, though. That's my big priority, is to, Bloom is all about 2021. We get Bloom out,
I don't see I would have said last year if you'd had it done in February. I don't see any impediments to getting it all done this year, but I don't want to jinx anything, because
yeah, right.
the world gets weird sometimes, like it did in 2020. So, and I guess we really don't need another Apama book because he's not disappeared. He's still in Punchline, as is Tap Dance Killer. Because, like I said, it's just the masthead changes, but the story keeps flowing. The only branch you've ever really had is Bloom #1 because we're throwing it back to 69 to bring it forward again.
Yeah.
And in fact, there are echoes of Regina in Punchline and the Vaudevillains #1 because she did throw that tattoo onto Apama's chest, and it's messing with him. And that has an impact in Punchline and the Vaudevillains. You get the library.
There's a wanted, when the father's looking at wanted pictures of Tap Dance Killer, there's a wanted picture of Regina right next to her on that first page.
That's true. So yeah, she's it's all tied together. In fact, I would bet I should probably go back through all my issues and see if there's any pictures of anybody that mean nothing, because they're probably somebody who's coming up here real soon.
You know what? If you reread Tap Dance Killer 4, there's a scene in there that's coming back to mess with the Vaudevillains big time. You know what? There's a story I haven't told anybody, but I'll mention real quick here. When I was growing up, I remember in the news, and you may remember this too because we're almost the same age. Patty Hearst. Do you remember Patty Hearst?
Yeah.
She had joined this. She had joined a strange kind of organization. And I forget what they're called, the Liberation of whatever. But they were releasing images of Patty Hearst holding this big gun. And when I was a 4 or 5 year old, no, maybe 5 to 7 year old kid, I was terrified of Patty Hearst. And I just think like this was before I had any kind of male female chauvinism that was just kind of embedded in you as you go through school and neighborhoods. But like to me, a female villain was more terrifying than any man that I would be laying in bed looking out the doorway thinking I saw Patty Hearst's shadow. So
fascinating.
What did you say?
I said that is so fascinating because
and if you look up the photo, and it was in my subconscious, so I do all this stuff with Regina, and then it really dawned on me that what I was really going for, I think, was sort of this feeling I had of being scared of Patty Hearst, and in some way that's there. And the symbol of the organization she was with was this multi-headed snake thing. And I was just like, oh man, I didn't, certainly didn't consciously copy that, but it was there. And there it is. Oh, that's the image. And they released that, and the news, you know how the news is. They made everyone terrified. So I'm just in my little neighborhood in Broadview Heights, Ohio, and I'm sure Patty Hearst is in our neighborhood. She's coming after me with that thing.
Yeah, that was back before a 24-hour news cycle too. So it was like you caught it at 6 o'clock, and by God, she might kill all of you before the news came out at 6 o'clock the next day. Yeah,
right. Yep.
The other thing that, like, just a sidebar of what's really fascinating about that too, like Patty Hearst, because I love my cults. She was kidnapped. She was like this rich girl who was kidnapped, and like that's where like the Patty Hearst syndrome and like there's Patty Hearst and the Stockholm syndrome. They're pretty similar, where like you start to like worship your captor, and that was one of the things that happened to her, and how she got essentially radicalized by the group that she was with, and like the complete turnaround. I mean, she's better now, but the dark place that she was in, and she'd call her mom and tell her mom, like, why are you crying? You shouldn't be crying. Like the work that I'm doing is so important. So she really was, when she was in it, she was very dedicated. But she's not as dedicated as Squeaky, if you will.
No.
Yeah. Oh. That was the one that gave me nightmares.
Fair.
Yeah, this is That's a heck of a picture. And now I never understood whether the story was that she faked her kidnapping to get with these people that she really supported, or if she got kidnapped and then they said, you know what, she's worth more to us as a symbol than the money we asked for her. Let's just put her picture down.
Yeah.
Well, and effectively so. If she's like the further out it goes, that it's affecting, as you're saying, that you were more afraid of her. Like this group could you can't even remember their name, but you were terrified
To Fatty Hearst.
Like that's some very effective PR for them, I'd have to say.
Yeah.
In a
Early
way.
terrorism. So we were talking about a comic. Everybody back the comic. This is, I have read everything that Hero Tomorrow's put out. I completely vouch for every issue. These are fun comics. Alicia, where can people find more of you and Scintilla?
Well, everybody is invited. Please go to www.heroinberg.com to check in with the whole class. It's a broad universe, all within Pittsburgh. So please check out Heroinberg.com to partake of all of that. Me personally, one of the best ways to find me is under my stage name, Sunday Service, and that's Sunday as a cheat because I'm one. So find me on Instagram you can call me _Sun, and then you can find the band that I'm in, keep up with other dancing that I'm doing. There's should be coming out pretty soon. I think next week. That I did with WWXI, which will be available online and everywhere. But that was about Heroinberg, so that's very definitely looking forward to seeing that. We actually filmed that last. I guess I think it was the actual beginning of March, but it might have been the end of February last. It was like just before quarantine, just before everything shut down. We filmed that. It's a much bigger take on but everything that pertains to the show. It was pretty fun, geeking out kind of conversation that I invite everyone to jump in on. Also have a Black History Month burlesque variety show going on at the end of the month, February 27th. A wonderful woman by the name of Peter Velez, this queer burlesque festival. She's been doing collaboration with artists to keep burlesque show going safely from home. We're going to be able to remote in and do some tribute numbers for our Black heroes in the stage realm, and I will make sure to be. I love to promote things. I'll be all over my pages. Please check me out at Lisa.
I hope all that came through. It was popping a little bit there, but Heroinberg is over here being our hero and making sure that all the links get put into the chat. So if you couldn't catch that on the audio, follow the chat that always plays along with the video and replay. You'll be able to click all these links and follow her at Sunday Service. And I hope we're going to see more of you also as Regina and as the issues come out. So
I hope she's really fun to play.
And I'll still cross my fingers for that Heroinberg, Cleveland, Apamaville crossover thing to come out in video form. That
Almost like a Cleveland versus Pittsburgh thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
The rivalry, we can bring it
back. Yes, bring it back in cosplay superhero video.
Right.
I'm here for it.
I'm here for it too. We'll back you all the way. Guys, I appreciate you coming on tonight. Best of luck with this. It's almost double goal, and it's only 4 days old. This is already unqualified. Is it unqualified success or qualified? I don't know. It's a success.
Fantastic 6.
Yeah, exactly. So the future is just looking brighter and brighter for you guys. Quality wins, and it shows here. So with that, I'm just going to bid you all a good night. Thank you, people in the chat, for coming by. We don't have a show without you. And